This is a nightmare scenario. It's what happens when your helicopter crashes into the sea.
It's a little daunting, and we have to make it as real as possible so that if those situations do arise, they can get out and save themselves and those around them.
This tank, with its helicopter simulator, is the centrepiece of the specialist training company Effective Offshore, and these people are undergoing the intensive training required to get work in the offshore industry.
It's a hard industry to get into, very safety conscious, and the employing companies require you to do very specific training, otherwise they won't let you on their choppers or on their rigs. You can't get out there without two basic health and safety courses, the two courses that we offer here.
Set up last autumn by brothers Chris and Frankie Veldman, it cost almost $500,000 to establish, and it's the first of its kind in Ireland. While Chris comes from a business background, Frankie has 14 years' experience working on offshore rigs.
I was always health and safety conscious anyway of everything that was going on the rig, helping people with safety because I had experience. They were bringing on a lot of new guys. They would buddy them up with me to ensure that they were trained properly, knew what they were doing. I was a health and safety officer for a rig called the Safe Scandinavia, where we had 580 people working on board. There was 50 core crew, which was full-time people on the rig. 10 of these guys were Irish. Every time they wanted to do a training course, they needed to go to Aberdeen. So I put two and two together, talked to Chris here, and we come up with the idea of Effective Offshore. Now, we've all been taught up in the classroom how to don our smoke hoods. So we'll put on the smoke hoods, we'll go one by one through a smoke-filled environment room, and we'll come out the other end, okay?
Part of what Effective Offshore offers is the 3-day Basic Offshore Safety Induction and Emergency Training course, or BOSIET. It's the must-have qualification when applying for work offshore. Available for the first time in this country, it covers every aspect of health and safety on a rig.
The sea survival part of the course trains the guys how to get off a rig, should the rig be on fire, how you're going to abandon it, are you going to use a temps, which is a totally enclosed motor-propelled survival craft.
The one we have here is a decommissioned one from a rig in Norway. The simulation gives them the feeling of the lifeboat being deployed onto water.
They're taught different aspects in there, how you do first aid, where to find food, seasickness tablets, anchors, fishing equipment, torches, bailers for scooping out water. There's quite a lot that they find in there.
Not just the equipment, but the building design and paintwork, even the trainees' movements around the centre, mimic what happens on a rig.
They use life jackets and they use special transit suits, the exact same kind that they find when they're actually going offshore, so that what they practice on here will be exactly what they find when they arrive at the heliport.
You're going to hold the jacket to your left, your arm goes through, goes over your head.
The trainers we have here have offshore experience, and this is to do with our accreditation body. They want people who has been there, seen it and done it to deliver the training. Which is acceptable because they know what they're talking about. You know, they can relate to different scenarios.
You're ready to go. If the water starts to rise up and reaches towards your chest and you feel like you're going to be submerged, then that's the point that you're going to activate your EBS unit. You do that by popping the red knob.
They put on a special lap jacket, which has a dual purpose. It's a life jacket as well as being a counter lung. The lung is built into the lap jacket. You fill it with your own breath. And in the event that you are submerged, it gives you about an extra 30 seconds of air to get to the surface. Once they've donned all the equipment, they get into the pool, slowly down the stairs. They fill the counter lung with their own breath, and then they pull themselves along the bar to simulate swimming in the water.
And if that took nerve, now for the real test.
They know now how to use the rebreathers. What we do, we put them in the helicopter simulator and we do a few different exercises with them.
Prepare for emergency landing!
the water creeps up, it's fairly frightening, because you're wondering, am I going to get out? Is my seatbelt going to open? Am I able to push the window out? But at the same time, we've taught them in the classroom all emergency signals should anything happen to them. We've 2 divers in the water with them, and we also have a lifeguard first aider who's riding shotgun with them as well.
Okay, guys?
Safely out of the chopper, the training becomes about surviving in the sea.
But when you grab this raft, you have to think to yourself, right, if I don't get this couple of feet into this raft, I'm going to die here alongside it. So that's why you have to push yourself, and I mean push yourself into this raft. When you find all these, you do not stop till you're inside.
With all these drills for rescue operations, it might seem a hugely dangerous line of work.
This industry is a safe industry, but it still also has a dangerous element to it. They want to make it as safe as possible, but they don't negate the risks that are out there, so they make the training very, very stringent. Everyone thinks of Piper Alpha when they think of the oil and gas industry, but there's more accidents in farming, in construction, in retail than there are in oil and gas. But that's because the training is so stringent, and people don't perceive it that way.
And with the certificates under their belt, they can work on rigs anywhere in the world.
At the start, I was very nervous because I'm a non-swimmer, and I was feared of the water, feared of getting into the water. But when I come and seen the setup and I got introduced to the team, they're a very helpful team, and they kept reassuring you the whole time.
Didn't really know what went on offshore at all until now, so had very little foundation, and now I think I have a fair enough idea of what goes on and what to expect if I did go offshore, so training was very good from that aspect, yeah.
It was very nerve-wracking at the start, and it just makes you think about the safety offshore and everything. And when I got in, though, I started to enjoy it. And the more you're in the water and you get used to it and you get into a team spirit. Obviously, it would be a little bit nerve-wracking when an actual experience is happening for real, but at least it gets you ready for what to expect and how to deal with it.
It's good to see that something in Donegal like this has started up to give people a chance to get back into work again, get offshore. It opens up a whole load of opportunities for anybody who wants to take the challenge on.
The training's expensive, but that's because the equipment that they practice on is expensive, and it's real, what they'd find in the industry. So far we've put around about 250 people through the training. There's no Indigenous workforce here in Ireland that's ready to work in the oil and gas industry here.